September 12, 1943. You do not send 50 men to snatch a head of state from behind enemy lines, not alone, not in broad daylight, not when every conventional military mind in Europe insists it is suicide. For decades, the world believed that once a nation's leader was captured, the war dictated a predictable course: imprisonment, trial, or death. Commanders and generals clutched this rule like a lifeline. It was the bedrock of operational planning. You cannot infiltrate a fortress guarded by thousands with just a handful of men. You cannot defy the logistical impossibility, the sheer physics of security, and live to tell the tale. Germany itself, once an empire of precise military engineering and tactical discipline, had internalized this law. No paratrooper dared dream of rewriting it. Every officer in the Wehrmacht and Waffen-SS knew Mussolini, Italy's Duce, was untouchable. He was held at the Gran Sasso Hotel, perched on a cliff, surrounded by mountains and soldiers, practically invisible to the outside world. The impossible was untouchable. But on that September day in 1943, one man changed everything. You are Otto Skorzeny, 42 years old, born in Vienna, trained in engineering, with a mind that treats risk like a chessboard. The rules of warfare intimidate you less than the hesitation of men who cannot imagine audacity. You have led paratroopers before, but never with the stakes this high, never with the eyes of Hitler himself watching your every move. Italy has surrendered to the Allies. Mussolini, toppled and imprisoned, is no longer a weapon of Axis power, but a symbol. For Hitler, letting Mussolini remain in enemy hands is unthinkable. His personal pride, the morale of the German army, and the perception of Axis dominance demand action. The challenge is clear. Mussolini's captors are vigilant. The mountains are steep. Helicopters are experimental and untested under combat conditions. A small German force, precisely 50 men, is expected to descend into the heart of enemy territory, seize a fortress on a cliff, and extract a high-value target without a single casualty among them. You imagine the impossible every night, sketching diagrams, calculating angles, measuring the wind, and predicting every variable.
And now the orders arrive. From Berlin, from Hitler himself. Rescue Mussolini, they say. No negotiation, no delay, alone. You realize at this moment that history is not waiting. It will be written by those bold enough to defy it. You step onto the transport plane. The engines roar, shaking the fuselage. 50 men, each with a weapon, a parachute, and a mission that could end in disaster, huddle in silence. You feel the vibration through your boots. The wind is already clawing at the fuselage as the plane ascends. 1,500 meters above the Apennines. You glance down at the Gran Sasso Hotel, perched like a crown atop jagged cliffs. There is no approach from below, no cover. The only way in is by air, by sheer audacity and precision. Jump positions, you command. The paratroopers cling to the struts, ready to leap. You count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They plunge. The air hits like ice. Wind screams past your ears. Some scream involuntarily. Others bite their teeth. You pull the cord. The canopy blooms above you like a ghostly umbrella. You drift silently, the hotel growing larger with every second. On the ground, Italian guards patrol. One sees movement. He shouts and the alarm begins, but your men are faster.
Skorzeny sprints, pistol drawn, toward the hotel entrance. 2 guards fall before they can even react. Your heart pounds. Every second matters. The hotel, with its 120-meter cliff drop on one side, feels more like a tomb than a fortress. You reach the main door. Inside, the corridors twist like a maze. Guards scatter. You hear the echo of boots against marble. 50 men move like a single organism, silent, precise. Mussolini is upstairs, held in a secure room. The combination of speed, nerves, and calculated terror keeps you alive. Finally, the door. Mussolini peers out, bewildered in his pajamas. His eyes widen at the sight of German soldiers storming the room. You do not waste time on pleasantries. One hand on his shoulder, you guide him. His voice trembles. "How?" "Time is short," you say.
1,200 yards from the cliff edge, enemy reinforcements approach. Skorzeny signals his men to the prepared gliders. Silent engines cut through the evening air. You count every second, 900 yards, 600 yards, 300 yards. Behind, the enemy fires. Bullets ping off the metal of gliders. 2 paratroopers roll over the edge, clutching their rifles, firing back. You feel the spray of wind on your face, the weight of history pressing down. A miscalculation now could kill everyone, and the world would call it foolhardy. But the impossible is already in motion. Then a near disaster. One glider veers dangerously close to the cliff. You shout orders. Another glider hits a rock face and flips. For a moment, all seems lost, but the men cling, adjust, and continue. The rhythm of courage is precise. Finally, you are airborne. The wind carries you away from the Gran Sasso. Mussolini is alive, unharmed. 50 men, 50 soldiers, all alive. The impossible has been achieved. If you find this kind of forgotten history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage and audacity deserve to be told, and by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. The retreat is tense. Allied planes patrol below, but the gliders are fast, silent, invisible. The mountains give cover, the men give discipline. You feel the relief, but not for long. Every second is a countdown, every gust of wind a threat. You land, the men jump, and Mussolini is escorted to a waiting aircraft. The roar of the engines masks the pounding of your heart. You have broken every rule of conventional warfare. You have redefined audacity. What they didn't know was that the world had been watching. Hitler's image is restored, his grip on Italian forces reinforced. The Allies are stunned. Their belief that Mussolini's capture signaled Axis weakness is shattered. Italian resistance falters. German morale skyrockets. Commanders across Europe reconsider what is possible when audacity meets planning. The raid becomes a textbook example in unconventional warfare. Paratroopers now are not just infantry, they are instruments of shock, capable of rewriting the rules of engagement.
Strategically, the extraction delays Italy's full integration with Allied forces. Entire campaigns adjust to compensate for a freed Mussolini. German troops gain time in the Balkans, reallocate forces, and alter their defensive plans. The true impact wouldn't be understood until months later, but in that moment, you have demonstrated that the boldest action can reshape the battlefield without firing a single conventional battle. You were Otto Skorzeny. After the war, rumors of your daring deeds circulate like legend. You evade capture, live to tell the story, and write memoirs that inspire generations of military planners.
The men who jumped with you are scattered, some lost to the chaos of later campaigns, others living quiet lives, carrying the memory of those terrifying seconds on the cliff. To this day, historians dissect the raid at Gran Sasso. Military academies study the audacity, the precision, the nerve. And yet, the human element remains central. 50 men, one leader, against impossible odds. Every heartbeat mattered. Every decision could have ended in tragedy. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Otto Skorzeny and the 50 men of the SS Panzer Grenadier Division do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.